What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another retro review of The Wire Season 1, Episode 12. We are almost done. There are 13 episodes. So this episode is called, I think, The Cleanup, and that is exactly what they're doing. They are cleaning up, honey. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So, we start this episode off. We have McNulty at the hospital, and Lieutenant Daniels is there. McNulty is like asking about Kima, and Daniels is giving him the rundown. And he was like, "Listen, if you really want to know how Kima feels, you go in there and you talk to her." Oh, I can't go in there. I can't go in there. And he was like, "Listen, if you're not gonna go in there, then get out your ass and go do some work. Go find the people." He's like, "The people that shot her are still in the wind. So you can't go in there and you can't let her know that you're supporting her. Then at least you need to go out there and get some work done." And he was like, "This was never about Barksdale. This was never about getting the drug dealers. This was just about me. It was always about me showing everybody how smart I was and showing everybody how fucked up the department was." And Daniels was like, "You think we didn't know that? Like, everybody knew that." You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew that this was a personal crusade. He was like, "But at the end of the day, you started it, and she's good police. She wanted to get the case solved. Whatever your intentions were, we are onto something real. Let's make it happen." What's up, Tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that. Ooh, sorry about that. So we're down at the low rises, and D is there with Bodie, and Stringer Bell comes through, and he was like, "Give me your pages." Because remember, last week, they hit the stash house, they hit the main stash house, they hit the high rises, like, because they were talking about how they going to run dry, how they about tapped out. So he collected the pages, he gave them 2 burner phones, and he was like, "Listen, don't nobody use these phones for anything other than business. And there are only 3 numbers you need to be calling. Either you calling for re-up, either you calling for muscle, or you need to talk to me. Other than that, don't use these phones. Your mama, your cousin, your granny, your girlfriend. Don't nobody need to have these numbers." He said, "And we're going to round up all the pages from everybody else, and it's only the 2 of y'all that need to give." They wouldn't even let Pooh in on the conversation, honey. They wouldn't even let Pooh listen to what he was saying. He gave them the numbers on a piece of paper. He was like, "Memorize these numbers and get rid of them." So, okay, so there's that. All right, whatever. Now, some other little side stuff that went down. Hurt passed the sergeant's exam. Listen, that's going to come into play later on. Right now, it's just something to put in your back pocket. Because Carver, who was the main person that wanted to take the exam, he ended up getting a higher exam than Carver. Like I said, put that one in your back pocket. Now, back down to the boiler room, we got the girl from the club. She getting some new contacts because now she can actually see, and she can put names with faces and voices so that she can help them better off. Now, everybody is sort of giving Freeman the side eye because they feel like maybe she's getting a little too close. Just a little too close. But again, we'll further see how that plays out later on. Right now, just again, people notice the wire's dead. They have stopped using the payphones, and the guys have figured out that they're gonna have to come up with something else. They're gonna have to figure out another way to skin this cat because the wires are no longer garnering them any information. They're not using them, and so they got to figure something out. Now, they know that they have their inside player. They know they have the dancer that can get into the club and get them some inside information, but they got to figure out. We're gonna get to that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, no, I'll go ahead and finish it up. But they have to figure out because they sent her into the club with a wire. But the problem is she's not close enough to the action to really get anything major on the wire. They did get that. They about to re-up. They know that they tapped them dry and they about to re-up. But as far as getting anything on Avon, she's not in the room with Avon, and so they were like, "We got to figure out a way to get more information." So we'll get back to that. While this is going on, Avon and Stringer are meeting with their lawyer, and their lawyer is like, "Listen, what is going on? Like y'all are high. How did this happen?" And they were like, "We don't know." And he said, "Listen, y'all need to clean house. Like whatever, if there's anybody out there that's dangling that can get y'all anybody that y'all know that y'all left any stones unturned, y'all need to go ahead and y'all need to take care of that right now, because in the meantime, this is going, like, it sounds like the police got some information and y'all need to figure out where it's coming from. And so they figure out the only, he said, as your lawyer, I don't really need to be in on that conversation, but I just need y'all to figure this out. He said, when did this start? And the only, as far back as they could go was Dee's trial. They were like, it seemed like the police have sort of been on us ever since Dee beat that charge. And so they went back to that and they were like, well, we got the security guard that we got to flip. We know we got the murder of, the guy that testified against Dee. And then, of course, they know that the situation with Kima, and they know Omar, the guy with Omar. So they know they got a shot. They're going to be looking for Wallace. And they was like, Lil Man and Weebay. Weebay, they got him out of town, and they not worried about Weebay. They're like, he a soldier. He going to do what needs to be done. Lil Man, they were like, Lil Man ain't a problem no more. So you kind of figure that Lil Man is no longer with us. But they know they got Wallace dangling, because they know Wallace can identify them with that whole situation with the Omar's with Brandon. So they're discussing what they need to do next and how they need to handle that, Now downtown, Deputy Burrell, he calls Daniels in to say, listen, we about to wrap this thing up. This is about to be over. You did what you were supposed to do. You played your position well. And as a result, we're going to go ahead and reward you. There's a couple of positions coming open, and you're going to get, there's a couple of positions that are going to come open. We're going to go ahead and, basically giving him the wink that he about to get a promotion, as long as he don't make no more waves. And Daniels was like, listen, I'm going to take this case wherever this case goes. Like, we have a few more days left on the wire, because, of course, Burrell is like, we're shutting this whole thing down. Like, we have we got a cop that got shot. We did our little song and dance for the media. We made a couple of arrests. The media is happy. The mayor's office is happy. And we're going to go ahead and shut this down. And Daniels was like, well, the case isn't over. But he kind of ain't say too much. He understood what the room was. He understood what the room was given. And Burrell let him know, don't do anything without running it past me first. Like, if you do anything more than than what's on that wire, you need to run it past me first. No more warrants, no more, anything else unless I know. Now, while this is going on, what's my girl, Rhonda, the DA, she gets called into her boss's office, and he's talking to her about campaign finance. He was like, listen, I see that y'all are pulling these campaign finance reports, so I just want to go ahead and give you a copy of my report and let you know that we have checked and double-checked all of our contributions, and everything adds up except for these two contributions right here. But we are giving that money back. We don't know where it came from. We don't know who gave it to us. And we don't know why they gave it to us. But we're going to go ahead and get that money back. And, of course, she don't know nothing about them pulling these campaign finance reports. That is all Freeman and pastrami sandwich, honey. She don't know nothing about them pulling these permits and all this other stuff. And, of course, she's confused, because she's confused for a couple of reasons. Like, one, she confused because she didn't know nothing about it. But two, she confused because she was like, her boss, he really acted like he nervous about something. Like, why are you giving me copies of your campaign finance report? And why are you telling me that you are legit? He was like, yes, because I'm not, I don't take drug money. I'm not involved with drug dealers. And it was like, where did this come from? So then we have Avon, D, and Stringer, right? They done call D down to the strip club. Oh, that was the other thing that I'm sorry, I forgot that part. But that's the other thing, when Avon and then we're talking to the lawyer, they were like, well, Orlando flipped. So whatever Orlando had, and Avon was like, well, Orlando don't have nothing but the club. Like, we never let him in on any personal business, so he doesn't know anything other than stuff dealing with the club. And so the lawyer was like, all right, well, you need to close shop. Like, he's like, your name is not on anything. Your name isn't connected to anything dealing with the club. So you need to just go on and shut down, find somewhere else to do your, to conduct your business out of. So they called D down to the club to ask him about Wallace. And D is like, listen, leave Wallace alone. Wallace didn't have nothing. Wallace is out the game. Wallace ain't gonna be a problem. Wallace ain't gonna flip. Just leave him alone. Cause D already know that basically, if they looking for Wallace, it's not a good thing. Like they ain't looking for Wallace to pat him on the back, and they know he knows that Wallace identified. Because remember, Wallace got the money, and so he knows why they're looking for him. Like he knows what the deal is, and he's telling them, listen, leave him alone. He's out the game. He's not even around anymore. He's not a problem. And of course, they giving him the look like, you don't get to decide who's a problem and who's not a problem. But they kind of let it go for the moment. And I guess they're like, look, we're going to find another way to skin this cat, Then we see the security guard. She gone, she done got shot, honey. Next thing you know, we look up. And who's back in town? Wallace. And remember, we saw that at the end of last episode that Pooh was going to send him some money. Wallace is back in the lowrises. And of course, D is looking at him like, now I just defended this mug. Like, I just told him he was out the game and he was nowhere around. And here he come. And so he pulls him aside and have a conversation with him. And he's like, listen, what you doing here? Like, you told me you wanted out the game. I let you get out the game. Because remember, it ain't that easy. Most people don't get to just say, I quit. Like, it ain't a regular job. You don't just get to show up one day and say, I quit. But he let him walk away. And he was like, we talked about you going to school. Like, what's going on? And Wallace was like, listen, this is all I know. Like, this is all I got. But of course, D knows that that's not good. Like, he told Wallace, like, listen, you really need to find something else to do. But when he can't convince Wallace to do it, he gives Wallace his job back. And not only does he give him his job back, Bodie tries to tell him that he got to start back at the bottom. D says, nah, you can pick up where you left off. We're going to put you back on the count. Which, of course, it's a hierarchy. So Bodie is kind of giving the side eye, but he don't say nothing. He doesn't contradict D or anything like that, but he does sort of give him the side eye. Now, back down to the boiler room, they just remember, after they found out about the security guard getting killed, they just remembered about Wallace. They done took Wallace down to his grandmother's house and forgot all about him. Because remember, he was supposed to testify that Monday. But then Kima got shot. All hell broke loose. And they done forgot all about it. They're not even doing the grand jury. So they looking for him now. And of course, they find out that he gone. He in the wind. He is not at his grandmother's house anymore. So then they start, searching for him all over Baltimore. And they actually do find an address for his mother. Y'all, his mama is a good old drunk. I mean, they showed up at her house and she could care less about her child. All she was worried about was the fact that her child stole $10 from her. And she was like, because when I see him, it's going to be a motherfucking problem. So y'all better find him before I do. I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. So, honey, she was a good drunk, okay? A good drunk. Now we have probably the best scene of this episode. Lieutenant Daniels, Senator Davis, and Deputy Burrell. Now, Clay Davis, who we've already told y'all, he becomes very important as the seasons go on. But in this particular episode, he starts off being real nice, prim and proper. Now, Lieutenant, it's come to my attention that you guys have been digging up some old campaign finances. And, everything is everything. We're good here. And Daniels is like, I mean, okay, we just following the money, wherever the money takes us. And then Burrell is like, so, and there seems to be an issue with his driver, something about some money or something. And Daniels was like, yeah, we were watching a known drug dealer. His driver came through there, picked up some money. We pulled him over. We found the money. We took the money. We documented it, and it is what it is. And Burrell was like, Davis was like, yeah, but that was just a misunderstanding. He still had he didn't get the money down in the high rises. He already had the money with him from a fundraiser. We've already amended our campaign finance report, so everything is okay, right? And Burrell was like, yeah, so you didn't really have any probable cause to pull him over. And Daniels was like, yeah, we did, because we were we we were observing a known drug dealer, and your driver rolled up in there and rolled up out of there with $30,000 in sequential bills. Like, no, we absolutely had every right to pull him over, honey. Clay Davis, he flipped real quick. He said, "Now look here, motherfucker." I said, "Oh, here we go." Because trust me, y'all gonna get to see who this Davis is. And Daniels don't flinch, honey. Daniels gives him that look. Daniels says, "Listen, like I said, we were doing surveillance on a known drug dealer. Your driver showed up, walked away with $30,000. Wherever the evidence takes us is wherever the evidence takes us." He stands up and he's like, "And if that'll be all, gentlemen," and he rolls out, baby. Clay Davis turns to Burrell and he was like, "You need to get your boy. You need to get your boy under control. Because he gonna fuck it up for everybody, basically." So anyway. Then we have the moment where Stringer Bell rolls up on Bodie. Stringer Bell says, "Listen, what's up with Wallace?" And Bodie said straight up, he was like, "Listen, he ain't really about that life. Like, listen, his heart pump Kool-Aid, he ain't really made for this. He ain't really fit for this." And they were like, "Well, where is he?" He was like, "Well, he was gone, but he back." And the Stringer was like, "Well, I thought he was out the game." He was like, "Well, he was out the game, but he showed back up, and D gave him his job back." And so he was like, "So what about you? Like, are you made for this?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I'm a soldier. I'm made for this." He was like, "So you ready to put in some work?" Bodie was like, "Yeah, what you need." And he was like, you got that heat?" And Bodie was like, "Yeah, I got my heat." And he gives him the look, and Bodie knows what it is. Bodie, they gave him his marching orders. He know that basically that's Wallace's death sentence, basically. Now, in the meantime, McNulty and Daniels are looking for. They done went to the little house they were squatting and realized that they gone. And we see that they've moved up into another little area that they squatting in. It looks like it's a little cleaner, a little bit nicer. They still got the kids. They still taking care of the neighborhood orphans and everything. And you see that Wallace is sort of back in his element. You know what I'm saying? He's sort of back in his element. And Poot is happy. He look clean. He back to giving a damn about the kids again. Everything is everything. So quickly that's going to change. Now, back to the boiler room. Part of what Burrell said to Daniels was he was pulling the good guy. Remember they dumped a bunch of bad guys on him and gave him a couple of good detectives. So Burrell was like, "Which two detectives do you want me to take?" And Daniels did the smart thing. Daniels was like, "You take who you want to take." And people he thought the dead weight he thought he was leaving Daniels is really the people who've been working. He was like, "Well, you can keep, pastrami sandwich, and you can keep Freeman." Because he thinks that both of them is dead weight. But those are really the people who've been doing the heavy lifting and figuring out this whole little situation. But Signor gets to stay a little bit longer, even though he was supposed to leave too, but he was able to keep him for another week or two. And Signor was like, "This is the best detective work I've ever done." Like, he really doesn't want to leave. Like, he really is feeling how the work he put in. Now, what they decide was, since the wires are dead, and they know that they can't get their the dancer into the room with Avon to hear anything significant, they got to figure out another way to skin this cat. So what they decide is, they're like, "We need her to let us know where his office is." And so they do this he said it's an old army trick where they tied the string to her ankles and had her walking so they could measure her steps. And then they had her counting out her steps so that they had the floor plans of the club, and they were able to break down where his office was as it relates to, like, when you walk in the club and you go left, you go right, you go up this number of steps, then you make another left. And what they discovered was that his office is side by side to the building next door, which is an abandoned building. And because it's an abandoned building, they don't need a warrant. And what they ended up doing was drilling holes into the wall to put a mic and a camera into the office. So now they got visual, they have audio, and they are ready to hear all of Avon's deepest, darkest secrets. So in the meantime, Rhonda comes down to the boiler room, and Rhonda is like, listen, I don't know what y'all down here doing, but y'all got my boss shooketh because he is giving me his campaign finance report and he's giving money back. Like, who does that? At what point do you know when politicians give money back? So they're able to realize that some of that money is connected to or suspected Barksdale properties. They're like, got them on the ropes. Because once again, what are we doing? We are following the money, honey. So down to the low rises, though, Bodie is having a hard conversation with Poot and letting Poot know, listen, Wallace, like, Stringer gave the order. Wallace got to go. And, of course, Poot is like, Wallace ain't going to snitch. What's the problem? Wallace ain't going to say nothing. And Bodie is like, it don't matter. Like, if Stringer said he got to go, he got to go. It's either going to be him or it's going to be me. Like, and it ain't going to be me. And so they take Wallace out to eat. And I'm like, was this his last supper kind of thing? Because even then they still giving Bodie giving him a hard time, talking about you're not a real man. You got to stand up like a man. And he was like, oh no, I'm a man. But later on that night, they take him home, and the kids are not there. Wallace is running around looking for the kids. The kids mysteriously ain't there. The whole apartment is empty. And not to prolong it, but Bodie, he pulls the gun, and Wallace immediately knows. He's like, what? What's going on? He was like, you brought this on yourself. Like, you should have stayed down the shore. You should have stayed away. You did this to yourself. And of course, Poot is crying. They got tears in his eyes. Bodie got tears in his eyes. Wallace is crying. Then Bodie gonna say, see, you ain't even a man. Stand tall, stand tall. Look at you. You peeing on yourself and everything. And I'm like, because you about to kill him. Does it matter? You're getting ready to kill him. But he pulls the trigger, and then Poot takes the gun, and he shoots him twice because, of course, both of them got to have their hands in it. And then Poot gets one of his girls to call it in, saying that they think they smell a dead dog, a dead animal, and, of course, they find Wallace's body. And Bunk is the one that gets the call, so Bunk lets them know that Wallace is dead, and, of course, Daniels is sort of blaming himself because Daniels is like, we did kind of, forget about him, kind of thing. But again, you knew the minute he got strung out, you saw that writing on the wall. Like, you saw that coming. So they're on the wire. Well, not the wire, but yeah, the wire tapping the audio into Avon's office. But unfortunately, what they realize is that Avon is moving because remember, his lawyer told him, get up out of here, get up. They know the club. They know you connected to the club. Get up out of here. So he's actually packing the club up. He's actually got somebody in there figuring out how to move his safe out of there. And so they're like, damn, we're not going to get no information because, they get ready to move up out of here. But they get lucky. D shows up. And Avon actually talks to D about making a run, about going to New York and making a run. He was like, listen, got the rental car. We need you to go up there and make the run. And D asking all these damn questions. D talking about why? Well, why me? Why I gotta go? And Avon was like, listen, it ain't too many people that I trust right now. So I need you to do this for me. Like, that the feds got us. We tapped out. I need to get this money. I need to get these drugs. So they're able to get a wire from the feds, and they're able to put a satellite on D's rental car. And they actually follow D. They follow him to New York, and then when he's coming back down from New York after he done picked up the drugs, he gets pulled over. Now, it might seem a little bit crazy that the police will pull him over off of something as simple as, well, we identified the fact that you went into New York. You were only there for 35 minutes. You turned around and came back. But again, remember, during the quote unquote crack war, this is the kind of stuff that they were doing. This was considered probable cause that you went into the city. We clocked your car going, through the toll. And 35 minutes later, we see you leaving and you have out of state tags. Now, of course, they wouldn't do that to white men. But, a young black man driving a rental car, but let's be clear. They already were on to D. But it would Like, it wasn't unreasonable for that to happen to black men. It happened all the time back then. So the police pull him over, and of course they end up arresting him because they done found them drugs in the backseat of the car, honey. They found the drugs. And D ain't talking to them. D is like, listen, lawyer. And of course they tried to get him to talk, and he was like, listen, y'all got me once, y'all not gonna get me a second time. Lawyer. And on their way out the door, McNulty was like, all right, I'm gonna let you go ahead and wait for your attorney to show up. He was like, but ask him about your boy Wallace. And D was like, what you talking about? He was like, yeah, they found Wallace in the lowrises dead. And of course he was like, you're lying. No, you lying. But of course the longer Daniel stood out there, the longer D sat there, the longer more he thought about it, and he knew they were telling the truth because he knew Stringer was looking for him. Now, while all of this is going on, Freeman is down in the boiler room, and he happens to catch a headline, and he notices a big $250 million project that's connected to some sort of rehab center. Now, they show it to us twice, which means it's important because this is The Wire, honey. Stuff is important, so this is The Wire. So we're gonna, I guess, see where that comes into play later on. We're gonna see where, how, and when that comes into play later on. But in the meantime and in between time, like I said, D thought about that thing, and D realized that they're not really lying to him. And the other thing that McNulty and them said was, they're going to find somebody to blame this on. So, they're going to blame you for it. And he was like, what you mean blame me? Like, I didn't do nothing. They were like, yeah, but they're going to find a way to blame it on you. And we see Avon talking to D's mother and basically telling his mother, look, D going to have to take the bid for this. Like, this not like last time where, they're witnesses that we can, whatever. They got him dead to right, and his mother was like, well, why would you even put him in that position? Why would you have him driving by himself like that? Why wouldn't you give it to a mule and just have him following the car? Like, y'all set him up. And Avon was like, it is what it is, but he gonna have to do that. He gonna do this, And he was like, can he handle it? And she was like, he my son. Of course he can handle it. He was like, all right, well, I'm just saying, So, oh, Lord. I don't know what's going on. There's a car out there that just, anyway. So, when Stringer Bell shows up with the lawyer, of course, D is in his feelings now. They done gave him time to think about it. And the first thing out of Stringer's mouth was, who fucked up? And all of that is in D's head now about what they told him about who messed up and how they was going to blame him. So D was just like, where Wallace at, Stringer? Where's Wallace? And Stringer was like, if you don't shut the fuck up. He was like, nah, I ain't going to shut up. Where's Wallace at? And he's yelling and he's talking about something. I don't want this lawyer. I'm going to get my own lawyer. You ain't have to do that to Wallace. That's fucked up. That was fucked up. You ain't have to do that. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Then we see Daniels once again meeting with Burrell, honey. Burrell is really trying to get to Daniels. And Burrell tells Daniels point blank, he was like, listen, I'm going to need you to back up off of the money part of this, or I'm gonna have to bring out the big guns. And Daniels was like, and what you gonna do? He was like, well, when you was down there, when you was over in the Eastern Division, a whole lot of money came through there, and a whole lot of funny stuff was going on, and you did come into a whole lot of money around that time, and it ain't gonna be coming from me. The FBI investigated you, and the FBI was looking into your activities. And you could almost see the look on Daniel's face when he was like, oh, that's all you got? He said, listen, I ain't the only one that's got business, that's got a history over there in the East. So if you want to bring up mine, then I'm going to be forced to bring up everybody else's. And you may not want me to tell what I know. Kind of throwing it right back at Burrell. He was like, and if you really had something on me, you would have already played that, you would have already played that card. So like I said before, I'm going to keep doing what I got to do to prove my case, because we got a cop that's been shot, and we need to get her shooters, and we need to take care of our own. Now, if that's all, I'm out. I said, oh, Daniels. Yes, honey. So last but not least, we see Avon and Stringer up in the office. The SWAT team is outside of Orlando's getting ready to pounce. McNulty and Daniels are in the car, giving each other the look like, yeah, this is it. Like, this is what we've been working on. Because they got Avon. You know, they got enough on him to connect him to that drug run for D. And McNulty tells Daniels, man, pull back squat. Let's go make this arrest, do it ourselves. Like, we earned that. And for the first time, you almost see a level of respect between McNulty and Daniels because, you know, they've been neck to neck, head to head from the beginning. And as we had a whole conversation about it when we did the live before about, where it stems from, whether you think it's racism, whether you think it's disrespect, it don't matter. They ain't like each other. And that's the first time you sort of see some level of respect. You know what I'm saying? And Daniels and McNulty, they go in. Avon is upstairs he said, how much money is in the safe? He was like, Stringer was like about 150. He was like, 150? All right, well, we're going to have to take that hit. He's like, go ahead and open up the safe. Ain't no need messing up a perfectly good safe. Let them go and they're going to get the money one way or the other. You might as well go and give it to them. And they were ready. And McNulty and Daniels comes up there and they arrest Avon, but they leave Stringer. But they arrest Avon, and Avon goes out in cuffs, and that is the end. I mean, then they show us like the low rise is empty, the dirty ass orange couch is empty. Very symbolic that we dry, ain't nothing here. So with that being said, y'all, that is episode 12. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.